2, 1.
Welcome to Made for More Living.
One small step for man.
With Johnny Jennings.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
The fastest and most exciting hour of news, events, and real estate in Northern California.
And this is a fact that was proved.
Powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Get ready. Here we go.
We have a fun show for you today. We're going to kick it off with why dumb agents make the most money. And with me today is special guest, realtor extraordinaire, Valary Jennings. Hi, Val.
Hello, all.
She's also my ex-girlfriend and my baby mama.
Your baby mama.
And my loving wife of over 13 years. So, sweetheart, today we're talking about why dumb agents make the most money. I can't remember where I read this, but I was reading it online. And what's your initial thought when you hear, the title, Why Dumb Agents Make the Most Money? First of all, do you agree with it? Let's just hear that.
I mean, no, I don't, but I'm curious to hear what the answer is. Makes me want to laugh. That's my initial reaction. Is
It's like
where is this going here?
Yeah. So what the article was talking about is, one, the power of focus. So really talented and successful real estate agents are hyper focused on one thing. What type? But basically, it's focusing on lead generation, like who they're going to work with, and they don't focus on different aspects of that. So they're very hyper focused, and they're not easily distracted by other things.
Do agree with that? Yes.
And the second thing, and I agree 100% with the second thing, is they avoid the disease of knowledge. So what a lot of agents do, the smartest, most intellectually advanced, shall we say, realtors tend to be the most broke. Would you agree with this, Val?
Yeah. People that are so obsessed with just learning the next thing rather than just doing the job.
Learning the next thing, knowing those contracts forwards and backwards. Like, yes, you have to have a certain competency, but if all you're doing is studying the contracts and you're not out there working with people, then you're not generating any income.
Right. That's true.
Right?
Do agree with that.
See, how I would look at it is I wouldn't necessarily call them dumb. I would say, from what you're describing, I would say that's a person that has humility, right? They're not prideful, like they've got it all together and they know everything.
Yeah.
And second, they're hungry and they're eager. I would say those are the two characteristics to make you successful. You don't necessarily have to just be dumb, but maybe you have less confidence, maybe, in the fact that you feel like I got to work for it more and I'm eager and I'm hungry, as opposed to somebody who thinks they have it all together and it's just going to come naturally and I don't need to work for it. And they've got this attitude of pride. Maybe that's the difference.
Well, it's also, you only have so many hours in a day. And so what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on things that are going to move the needle in your business? Or are you focusing on things that make you feel more comfortable about where you're at?
Right.
So if you're trying to focus on, hey, there's this pay-per-click. If I run ads, maybe I'll make some money off of running ads. If I work on open houses, maybe I'll do both together. Maybe if I also, dovetail in email marketing. Now all of a sudden you have all these different three things that you're working on, but how are you doing those three things consistently while servicing the business you currently have? Like, there's only so many plates you can spin before one falls. And then you layer on top of that learning the contracts, staying updated, knowing what interest rates are, within the last 90 seconds. It doesn't, that all that stuff really does not matter when it comes to being successful in real estate. When it comes to being successful in real estate, it's how many people are you talking to and how often, how consistently you're talking to large numbers of people. And so it's almost an analysis paralysis is what it is. So once I have this information, once I'm competent in this, you can once yourself to death, right? If as soon as you think you're good enough, you're never going to be good enough. But you're always thinking, once I'm good enough, then I'll do this. And so it's that lack of action, that lack of meaningful, consistent action where agents struggle. And so that leads into thing number 3, which is execution over knowledge. So according to this, the dumb agents execute. And then they figure it out. So they may not know everything about email marketing, but they're going to send out an email and they're going to send out a newsletter.
Yeah.
Yep.
It reminds me of my kids. Kids usually at a young age are human beings of action. They're animals of action. Like if Noah, my 10-year-old, or even my 7-year-old think about something, they want to do it now. They're not going to analyze it on paper and make a plan like mommy and daddy will. They're like, let's go. Let's do it now. Come on, let's go.
Absolutely. So
and so they're getting things done, whereas mommy and daddy may be planning it and then it gets delayed and we don't end up doing it.
Yep.
So for example, Valary and I, Sugar, we have been to all 50 states.
Yeah.
Okay. And how that happened was a friend of ours said they wanted to hit all 50 states before they were 30. To my knowledge, have they done it, Sugar?
I don't remember who it was.
I don't.
I doubt it.
He has red hair and she has brown hair.
Oh, no, they haven't. They have not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so here we are. They came up with the idea first. They implemented it first, but they still haven't done it because they were still figuring out like other things took place. But what we did was we just said, screw it, we're going to go. And like we didn't know. We were traveling around in a little 1988.
We're going to beat them.
We're traveling around in a 1988 Toyota pickup with a mismatched camper shell on the top. And like we were pulling over, like things were breaking down, but we did it. Like,
wow. So you had some truck breakdowns, mechanical issues?
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah, horrible.
Lots of them. All over the country.
That's cool, though.
But
those create great stories and great memories.
Yes.
But we were like, hey, what are we going to do in this state? We figured it out on the way because we were driving. You're seeing a lot of country. You have time to figure out, hey, when we hit this next city, where am I going to go? So rather than have everything perfectly planned out, we executed. Rather than have something perfectly planned out in real estate, execute.
Right.
Because you don't know what you don't know, and the best way to learn is by doing it.
Yeah.
So dumb agents are just going to execute.
Right. It's true. I think with your road trip, maybe everything didn't go together perfectly, right? It wasn't this perfect trip where everything went right. Whereas maybe your friends are trying to achieve that. Like, we want to make this perfect. We want everything to be arranged perfectly.
Yep.
And then it never happens. So like you said, you overanalyze and no action.
And the last thing is like dumb agents. Again, I'm using the word dumb agents because that's what the article said. But dumb agents don't compare. Like they compare very, very little. Like they don't see where they're at, or they don't compare their results to somebody else. So somebody who likes to overanalyze, or maybe like just really digs into the details, they will say, hey, how's my newsletter work? How's my marketing compare? How many people am I working with from an open house? How many doors did I knock? Like all these different things that they're going to compare. Whereas the person who is more laser focused, they have those blinders on. They don't care what other people are doing. They're just all in on these few activities that are moving the needle in their business. And when they hear rejection or they get turned down or something negative happens, it's just like duck off water off the back of a duck. They just keep going. And so like I admire dumb agents. Like that's my goal, is to be a dumber agent.
So that was my question. Do you consider yourself a dumb agent, and how do you maintain that focus, keeping those blinders on? Because there's a lot of distraction and temptations, especially when you become successful. You're tempted to do this, and this new idea comes in, and so how do you do that?
Yeah. Let me ask Val. Am I a dumber agent than I used to be?
Yes. And I was just going to say, can I chime in here? Because this is Johnny to a T. He has many times in the past gotten distracted by things, because there's all kinds of tools and different things you can do in real estate to be, air quotes, be successful, right? But you've gotten really good at, okay, here's something, let's execute it and see if it works. If not, let's cut it out before it causes any more delays on, whatever progress we're trying to make on something, right?
So you're saying I've become a dumber agent over the last 10 years?
Yeah. Good job.
It's good job.
Good for you.
Yeah. So my goal is to be dumber, like in the sense of dumber as in dumbed down, focused on as little as possible, and only focusing on the things that matter. And so
how do you do that?
So
because like she said, you're getting all these new ideas, and maybe you're seeing an agent's doing this. Oh, well, this is a possible idea. You could try this, and
So I can speak from my experience, but my experience is going to be different. And I'll give you my experience, and then I'll say what an agent should do. Okay, because I'll have the benefit of hindsight. So what I did was I read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. I watched hundreds of hours of YouTube. I listened to. I paid probably probably $250,000 in coaching. Like I've spent so much money acquiring the knowledge, and now that I have this base, it's very easy for me to go, oh, that's smoke, that's stupid. I've already tried that. I would not recommend that because I've tried all these things. I spent all this money and all this time. And so for me, when I'm dumbing it down, I have that base of knowledge that I can now refer to. And what's more important than my base of knowledge as I move forward is leveraging other people's knowledge. So instead of asking, how can I do this? I am focusing on who can do this, who can help me with this, who has experience in this. So rather than me having to achieve that learning curve and learn it myself personally, I can leverage somebody else who has done it for 5, 10, 20 years.
That's smart.
And so that's what I'm doing. So if you're an agent, my suggestion is to partner with somebody, join a team that has the experience. So you don't have to spend waste all the time, money, and resources learning. You can that team becomes your who.
Yeah.
The person that the organization that has all the answers for you, it can really expedite that learning curve so you can launch your career faster and more profitably.
So when you're looking for people to join your team, the Made for More Living team,
Yeah.
are you looking for dumb agents? What are those characteristics that you're looking for that tells you, okay, this person's going to be the quote unquote dumb agent that's going to be successful?
So the dumb agent.
We're looking for
Well, I
dumb
know
agents.
somebody's listening and they're like, well, I'm pretty dumb. So
I'm pretty
maybe
dumb.
I'd be great for the Made for More Living
I got
team.
this. Yeah. No, first of all, my goal is to be the dumbest person on the team. Okay. In the sense of, hey, I'm laser focused. I am moving the needle. I'm helping my agents. And so what we're looking for are people who don't have a plan B. Like when I ask agents, hey, you know what? Because here's the harsh truth. Like Valary can attest to this. 90% of real estate agents quit in 5 years. 90%. The average the average person supposedly knows 12 realtors. Okay. So if the math works out, right, what's 10% of 12? 1.2. So out of those 12 people they know, one is going to be a realtor in 5 years.
Wow.
Okay. So the other, 11 are pretenders. They're part-timers. They're not in this. They have a plan B. And so if you don't have a plan B, you're going to figure it out and you're going to make it work. And so what we're looking for is people who are committed to the industry, committed to this profession, and want to make it like their sole income, like their sole job. This isn't a hobby. And so some startling statistics, 98% of real estate agents sell less than 1.5 homes a month. 98%. So if you're interviewing multiple agents, if you're interviewing 2, odds are the other one sells less than 1.5 homes a month. Would I go to a dentist who sees 1.5 patients a month? Would I go to a mechanic who sees 1.5 cars a month? A surgeon? Would I work with an attorney who has 1.5 clients a month? Absolutely not. So why is it okay to go to a real estate agent who's a friend or maybe an old coworker or so? You really want to be careful, like who you're associating with, because there's so much fluff and so much distraction in our industry. The second startling statistic is 48% of agents did not sell a single home, not one, in 2023. So last year. Okay, so
Wow, that's incredible. So almost half.
half. And so
Why is that?
because it's a hard industry.
And last year was hard too.
Last year was hard. This year's not easy either.
Yeah.
And so if you're not associated with the right people, if you don't have the right who's in place, you're trying to figure it out on your own and you're not committed. If you're doing this as a hobby and this is, hey, I just want to tell people at the soccer games, or I'm retired and I'm just going to tell people when I meet them I'm a realtor and I'll work my sphere. Like that's very common. But we get paid on par or more than dentists, doctors, lawyers. But the bar to entry is so much lower than those other professions. And there's so many realtors, the bad watered down the value that the excellent realtors bring. And so when it comes to finding your who, it all comes down to who you associate with and who you're plugged into. A bad who can cost you we went through, I can think of 2 coaches where between the 2, we paid almost $30,000. Another coaching system, we paid over $50,000. Absolute wastes of money. Like I learned some things in the process, some silver lining, but as far as an investment, we did not see return on that. And so if you want to circumvent those roadblocks,
And not waste all that
and
money.
not waste all that money, just reach out to us. You can call or text anytime, 530-GET-MORE. Expect more and get more with Made for More, right? So 530-GET-MORE, and we can certainly help you launch your career. If you're currently stagnating and you need some help, we can take you to the next level, because we've done almost everything. We've been solo agents, we've started a team, we've bought another book of business. The only thing we haven't done is sold a real estate company. That's the only thing left for us to do. So if you haven't done any of those other things and you're looking to learn from somebody who has, call or text 530-GET-MORE.
Mike, some people would call this being greedy, but from my perspective, it's just the plain fact that we work hard for our money. We want better customer service. We want a better experience. And that's what you get when you work with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty. For instance, Margie and Ben, they wanted to sell their mother's home in Rancho Cordova, but not only did they want to sell it as is, but they also wanted top dollar. And that's exactly what they got from Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team. Sold it for $20,000 over list price, and they had cash in hand in only 17 days.
Yeah, and the key to that, again, is the customer service. Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team took care of them through the whole process. There's a reason why they have over 760 five-star Google reviews, and were voted the #1 team in Roseville for the last 3 years. So if you would like some help selling your home, you were curious what kind of offers you can get, the high end, the low end, or maybe just a cash offer, you could take advantage of Johnny Jennings and Tom Daves real estate team's Bay Area marketing plan to get the most for your home when you Google Made for More Realty. Expect more, get more with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty, brokered by eXp Realty. Just Google Made for More Realty today and get more for your home. License number 581-837.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So when Valerie and I first got married, Valerie, you're on the show, right? Valerie's my lovely wife.
Hello, all.
Hello. And then a non-negotiable was whether or not we were going to have kids. And you and I were 100% on
Wait,
board.
hold the phone. So it was a non-negotiable for you or for you?
For Valerie.
So Valerie's like, hey, we have to have kids?
Yeah, for
And did you
sure.
say how many?
Well, we had...
You didn't say how
yeah.
many.
No, we had tossed around some numbers. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was
That
it
was a
always
non-negotiable.
More than one. Always more than one, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And I agreed to it. I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun.
When we
wow, famous last words. Having kids sounds like fun. Sure,
Yeah,
we'll give it
famous
a
last words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But none of our friends had kids at this point, right? When I made this commitment, none of our friends had
We
kids.
were like barely out of high school. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was, whatever.
Was
I was
this
a
like,
couple
I
years
will
out.
date you as long as you know if we get married, we're going to have kids?
Yes.
So we started dating in late January, and this conversation probably came up in March. Right?
Wow, she
Valerie's
was a
laughing
fast
over there.
I didn't
So
waste
it's like
any time.
we're not. Hey, like we got you only live once. Let's make the most out of our time. And so I was like, yeah, it sounds cool. Like whatever. And so let's have a lot of kids. Like I think I said 5 and 5, like 5 kids
You
in
did.
5 years
Yes.
was the original goal.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, and I
5 kids in 5 years?
I had no frame of reference, like
Yeah.
zero frame of reference.
Man dies of
Yeah.
heart attack after attempting to have 5 kids in 5 years.
Yeah, or wife kills him.
Yes.
Yeah, but then our friends started having children, and I was like, Valerie, can we renegotiate a little bit on this kid thing? I'm not into it.
Oh,
He
you didn't
went
like
fu-
the experiences they were having.
Yeah, he went from 5 to 0. Like, I'm not
Really?
having any kids.
You were like, none.
I'm not
0.
doing this.
Yeah.
What is it about their experiences that you didn't like?
Well, it was like I remember just walking into the houses, and it's like loud, and everything's sticky, and nothing's clean, and I'm like, and then we come home, and it's nice and quiet, and we could do whatever we wanted, and we
It's
could
true.
go wherever we wanted.
Oh
And I
my
was
gosh.
like, "Wow, this is nice. Do we have to have kids still?"
I mean, you're not wrong. You have a point. It is very nice to not have any kids in the house.
It
Because
is.
you're right. Your house is cleaner. You have more money, right? It's
Yeah.
quieter.
Yeah, and but Valerie was like, "Nope. Am I?"
Well, yeah, I was like, this is part of what I want to do as a human being on this planet. Like, I want to have children.
Yeah, you got
So-
one life. This is part of that
Yeah.
journey. I'd like to experience it.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we're sharing all this because Valerie's really into the kids. Fast forward, like I am absolutely in love with the two boys that we have, Jack and Ben. Absolutely adore those kids. Can't imagine my life without them. Sounds cliche, but just to give context, I was way out in no kid land, and now I'm like, hey, you want another one, Val? This is pretty cool.
So you guys are committed to having 5 then, right?
No, I think if we have four is
You
number
want a girl,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're shooting for? You got 2 boys, you got to get a girl. That's where we were. We had 2
yeah.
boys, and we're like, let's shoot for a girl.
I'm
We got
cool if
one.
we don't have a girl. Like I met a guy recently. He has 7 sons.
Oh my gosh.
And if we have four boys, I'm 100% okay with that. But I just think it'd be
Weddings
fun.
are cheaper. Right?
Weddings are cheaper.
True.
There's a lot of benefits there, but Valerie, so I was anti kids. Valerie's pro kids. And then what happened with church, Val?
Oh, well, so just to preface this story, like I still am pro kid. I love my kids, like 100%. They're
Just not
amazing.
everybody's kids.
But not everyone's kids. And, so it was, let's see, the Easter, like 22, I think it was.
Yeah, Jack had just been born, like 6 months old.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, we love to serve and help out in the church whenever we can, right? And so they knew that I had brought my kid to the nursery every single week. He's a regular over there. And they asked me to serve on Easter, and because there's extra attendance.
Sure.
There's a lot more people that show up on Easter, and they need extra hands. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it for you this once, but this isn't really my cup of tea, right? Like the nursery's not really my thing.
Yeah.
And so I did.
So what age group? Is this babies?
Well, no, I think that may have been easier, right? But because I had a 6-month-old, so I knew.
So they threw you in with toddlers.
They threw me in with the 3 and 4-year-olds.
Oh, the 3 and 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's the hardest.
Yeah, and I was
That
like,
is the most extreme because they are full of energy.
They're-
They just want to attack you nonstop.
yeah, and they're like, I got to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. My kid still goes in diapers. Like,
Right.
so I was totally lost. And I'd never done anything like this before. So anyways, they called me up afterwards, and they were like, hey, so how'd it go? Are you ready to sign up again and serve some more in the nursery on weekends? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, but this is just, I was
Right.
upfront with you guys at the beginning, and other people's kids are not really
I don't like their
my
kids.
deal.
I
I
think-
only have my own kids.
Just knowing you as long as I have, I think you would do well with the older kids. I
Yeah,
think you
probably,
would. I
yeah.
think you would do well with like maybe even junior high or something like that.
Yeah. Well, maybe at the church, yes.
Yes.
But I was a substitute teacher for a while, so
Oh,
I'm
there
a
you
little
go.
bit, scarred by that part of it too. So maybe that might be where
The hesitancy is coming in. Yeah.
other people's kids scare me.
But what does this have to do with real estate?
Yeah.
Right. Well, so Valerie was kind of thrust into a situation where she was uncomfortable. She didn't have a whole lot of experience. Oftentimes, that's a buyer, and purchasing a home. Like the number of times a person buys a home has now increased, or the length of time has increased from about every 7 years, almost to once every 10 years. So, every 7 to 10 years, you're doing something that you haven't done in a long time. And 7 to 10 years ago, the process was different, the market was different. And I was recently reading an article about this guy. He toured 50 homes, lost out on every single one, and here's how he finally outsmarted the competition. And so this article goes into, like, when I read things like that, my heart just feels like it sinks. It feels really bad for that couple, because they didn't have. There's a better way. You don't have to like beat your head against the wall for 50 homes. How many weekends was that? Like we don't recommend seeing more than 4 homes in a given weekend, maybe 6. And so let's just say
Why is that?
Why? Because they all start melting together. Like
It's honestly hard for you to keep track of, especially between looking at all the houses online. It's blending together with like, oh, was that house on that street, or was that house? And it's hard for people to keep everything straight.
Yeah. And so it really helps delineate, which house was which. If you see fewer than 6, anything more than that, it just turns to mush. And it's a long day. It's
Harder to make a decision.
It's harder to make a decision. It's yeah. So, but let's just say they saw 5 homes. That's 10 weekends that this family was out here doing it. I think it took them 6 months. But my point is, it didn't have to be this hard.
Wow.
Like Valerie, we have a white paper that you can get. Just go ahead and call or text us at 530-GET-MORE. 530-GET-MORE, M-O-R-E, and we can send you this white paper on how to win a bidding war. There's 9 different steps, and it's really clear. And the most people think in order to win, they have to be a cash buyer or they have to pay the most amount of money, and that is simply not the case. It is Valary's one of her greatest hits moments was she got an offer accepted for $60,000 less than the highest priced offer on the table. $60,000 less.
That's a lot of money.
That's that'll pay for some college. That'll pay for like one semester somewhere. But just to give you some tips in here, you want to write a clean offer. What does a clean offer look like? Right, and so in the white paper, we'll explain to you how to do that. You want to make sure that your buyer's agent is doing certain things with you up front to make sure that you're able to win that offer. So we cover that in the white paper. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you can just call or text us at 530-GET-MORE, and we'll get you that information. 530-GET-MORE. But that kind of goes hand in glove too with something else that I recently read about. Matt, have you ever heard about an escalation clause before?
Nope.
Escalation clause, fancy term for a silly thing. Valary, you're the contract expert. You mind explaining escalation clauses?
Yeah, definitely. So essentially what it is basically just putting verbiage into your offer that says you'll beat any other offer that they receive by a certain amount of money. So commonly it's about $1,000, right? So if buyer A makes an offer at $550, then buyer B has an escalation clause in their offer. That means automatically their offer comes in at $551, and they beat the other offer at $550. So that
seems dangerous to me, is it not?
Well, you can cap it. So say if somebody offered $600 and you're only approved up to $580, then
right.
You cap yourself at $580, right? So
in the offer though,
right?
And you can assure that the counters are being fair, like there's a legitimate other offer.
Yeah, and that's all part of the verbiage that you put in the offer with the escalation clause. It has to be a proven other offer, so you can't just say,
we got an offer for $600,000, so
yeah, so 601.
Right.
No, yeah, you have to actually see proof of the other offer. Yeah,
but that's awesome. That's a great strategy. Love that.
It's kind of gimmicky, honestly, because in order to do it where you're protected, you have to put a cap on it. And so if you were willing to cap out at $600, why don't you just offer $600,000 for the home?
Oh, interesting.
Because it's a bit gimmicky.
Yeah, I hear you.
Or what if you're using an escalation clause? Again, you're focusing on price. That's what the escalation clause is doing. What happens if there's other terms that are more important, like a rent back or shorter contingencies? Now you're focusing on something that may not even be relevant to that seller. And so really you don't see them very often. How often? I mean,
not in this market right now. Yeah. I mean, it's a good strategy to use if you know you are in a multiple offer situation, but in this market, it was probably 20, 22, 21 last time I saw one.
Yeah. And even then they're rare. So one of the things that we go over in the white paper is, put your strongest foot forward. If you want this house, why do you want it? Like, give me reasons. Is it the location? Is the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the kitchen? Does it have a pool? Does it not have a pool? Is the backyard big? Is it close to freeways? Is it far from freeways? Like, is it in nature? Like, give me the reasons why you're interested in this home. Now, are you going to be sad if you miss out on this home? Yes or no? Okay, if you're going to be sad, why? Like, what are these things? Okay, now it's really hard, but you have to figure out what are those things worth to you. So if you come in with an extra $5,000, an extra $10,000, that may be an extra $3 a day, depending on your situation in terms of your mortgage. Are those things worth an extra $3 a day to you? If so, let's go in with our best foot forward and make that strong offer and not leave anything up to chance. And then hey, if I don't win, it just wasn't meant to be. There's a better house out there. I'll find something else. But if you end up losing and you So we won't say the address, Val. We cannot say the address or the city. But we put our home on the market, and we knew it was going to go quickly because it's a beautiful home, well-maintained, massive backyard. How many offers did we get on it?
4.
4. So we had 4 offers, and offers have babies. That's a famous Brent Gove term. Offers have babies, meaning a home can be vacant or can be on the market for 30 days. This is actually probably a better example, but a home can be on the market so we had a home that was on the market, 42, 43 days?
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
Normal for the community. Mm-hmm. And then a person came back that had originally submitted an offer but decided to go a different route. They rescinded their offer before we accepted. And then they come back and they say, hey, is your seller still interested in our offer? And we said, yeah, let's present it in writing and we'll see where we're at. Well, in the amount of time that it took them to then get us the offer in writing, we received 2 more offers that were significantly higher than theirs. But because the home had been on the market 40 days, they figured they could come in low and get a deal. Well, we ended up selling it, I believe, for, what was it, Val?
Almost full price.
Almost full list price.
We were pretty close. Yeah.
And so offers have babies. So if you're going to make an offer, make sure that you make your strongest offer initially. Don't leave anything up to chance. So that was the house that had been on the market for 30 days. Let's circle back to the house that was on the market like 3 days. And there was an offer on the table. It was really good. And the seller really wanted, because the seller really wanted to sell it to this person. But then in the 11th hour, another offer came in that just blew the other offer out of the water. And that offer was written in such a way, it was more like a take it or leave it. Like we didn't want to risk losing that offer by sending out like counter opportunities to the other 3 offers on the table. So the seller elected, hey, I like this offer. I like the terms. I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. We're going to accept this offer. And so the person that was originally leading the pack was irritated. They're like, what? I thought we were going to win. You said that we were sitting strong. Yeah, you were until you weren't. Well, my buyer would have been willing to pay more. Then why didn't they?
Yeah.
Like, why did you leave it up to chance? Like, if you're upset, that buyer should have gone all in on that home. And so, anyways, if you want to learn how you can go all in on a home and not necessarily pay the most, but write the offer that's going to give you the most value. Right, we have a white paper on that, so just call or text 530-GET-MORE. That's 530-GET-MORE, and we'll send that over lickety-split.
So who's number 1 in Sacramento? Well, it should be obvious by now. Of course, it's Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team with Made for More Realty. There's a good reason why they have more 5-star Google reviews than anyone else in the greater Sacramento area. Find out what kind of offers you can get on your home, or hey, how much you would get if you wanted a cash offer today, no matter what kind of condition your home is in. So reach out to them, Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team with Made for More Realty.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So, Matt, you were recently headed south for vacation to Southern California, and you got to drive past the thriving metropolis of Coalinga. Did you not?
We blinked and we almost missed it.
I know.
I mean, what does it have, one stoplight?
When I was growing up, it didn't have any, and then I remember when they put the first one in, right next to Big K.
Now there's 3.
No longer a
So
Big K.
For people that don't know, Coalinga is located where in California?
So if you look north to south, east to west of California, you just draw some lines. Smack dab in the middle is Coalinga.
So just south of... What'd you
everything.
say?
Yeah. Not
so
just
Central California.
Central California, the biggest landmark is it's about an hour and a half southwest of Fresno.
And Coalinga is known for what major industry?
So Coalinga, we're gonna do a history of Coalinga. So Coalinga
What's its major exports and imports?
Was a boom town. It was a boom town. So that movie came out, I think, late 2000s. There Will Be Blood.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, so
is that the town?
Like Coalinga, Taft, like that whole region.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they've been pulling oil out of the ground.
Now I'm very intrigued. You should have told me that.
Yeah.
Instead of being known for the dumb horned toad, you should have told
The dumb horned toad, that's the number 1 mascot in the country.
But There Will Be Blood. That is a really great movie. And I had no idea that it was based out. Is the story based on that town or what?
So it's based, I believe,
it wasn't shot in the town.
No, but the landscape's the same. So just outside of Bakersfield, about 2 hours south, there's a town named Taft. I think if my memory serves, it's more closely aligned with that history, but the histories are the same.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's all the same with like the small town there and the way that it got started, and still the oil industry is still booming.
Oh, wow,
there.
that's so incredible.
So when I was in 3rd grade, I remember
See, that's what you should, when you tell people I'm from Coalinga and they're curious, what is that town? You should, well, have you seen the movie There Will Be Blood?
But most people haven't seen it. You gotten
No,
so
what
excited.
are you talking about? There Will Be Blood is a huge popular movie.
It's probably 50%
Daniel Day-Lewis
chance.
won an Academy Award for that movie.
See, you know good cinema, clearly. You know, because Coalinga and Daniel Day-Lewis. But most people don't. Most people recognize it for Harris Ranch. When you're driving south, smell all the cows.
The casino?
No, it's a hotel. It's a hotel.
And a fancy restaurant like steakhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then there's all the cows, the Harris Ranch feedlot. But anyways, what this has to do with real estate is the number of U.S. homes for sale is slowly returning to normal, and it's an incredible trend. Economists say, I'm reading this article on Realtor.com, and it's just crazy to me because we were like, when is inventory going to normalize? When is this going to happen? Because there's been such a deficit, there's been such a need for housing, and it's starting to normalize. And in the states like Texas, like out in Austin, have some buddies who run big operations, real estate operations out in Austin, and they are seeing pre-pandemic inventory levels out in Austin. So what does this have to do? Like, obviously, we're based out of the Sacramento region. We're here in California, not in Texas. Thank goodness. And what happens over there tends to affect us 5, 6, maybe 8 weeks later. Like Val and I were coaching with this fantastic guy. His name's Bill Pipes, and he every single week we'd have a coaching call, and he'd be like, "Hey, like this is back in early 2022, and so things were still rocking. Interest rates were low. You know, everybody was out buying a house, and times were good. But then they started jacking the interest rates up, and in these other markets, like out in Austin and stuff, the real estate market came to a screeching halt. Like it slowed down way sooner than it did in Sacramento. And so my coach kept asking, "Hey, Johnny, how are things going? How are things going?" I'm like, "Good, we're rocking and rolling, blah, blah, blah." And then all of a sudden, the next week comes by, like 4 or 5 weeks later, and I'm like, "Man, I don't know what happens. It feels like we're still like stepped on the acceleration pedal, but somebody else is just pushing on the brakes." And he says, "Yeah, that's the Fed. They've jacked up the interest rates. I'm surprised you didn't feel this sooner." And so what that has to do with us is, if you're seeing the slowing happening in other regions in the country, it is going to happen here. Now, prices are still high. We're not talking about a correction, but what we are seeing is it sellers no longer being kings of the real estate transaction. We saw a big correction when interest rates first started increasing, and now we're starting to see more of a normalization. So that's good news for buyers, still good news for sellers, because sellers, most of the people selling homes, also have to buy a home. They're not just going to live on the streets. And so this is also making it easier for them to find inventory. Valerie, have you seen anything out there? Like, what are your thoughts on what's happening?
Yeah, I think this is, every seller doesn't want to hear that, you're not the king of the transaction anymore, but in all reality, it's healthy. This is a good place to be at where neither the buyer or the seller is in too much control over the situation, because then we can come to an agreement. Everybody can be happy. That's, I think, how it should be, right? But so some things that we're seeing now is sellers doing price reductions, sellers being willing to give buyer credits, just being a little bit more flexible and working with the buyers and helping them out rather than being like, nope, take it or leave it.
Exactly. So just to give you some cold hard facts, some stats here for you, the inventory nationally, so we're talking national here, is up 35% year over year. So nice. This month compared to this month last year, it's up 35%. So there's more homes nationally. You may not be feeling that yet locally, but know that it is coming, which puts it at an 18-month high. So this is the most inventory we've had in a year and a half.
And why would you say that is? Is that new construction? More people just interested in selling their home for some reason? Where is the new inventory coming from your perspective?
In my perspective, a lot of sellers have been waiting. They kept thinking interest rates were going to come down, and they're just tired of waiting. They have to make a move. Like waiting 18 months, 2 years is a long time if you were wanting to make a move 2 years ago. And so people are like, they're retiring, they're done waiting. There's all these life events that are happening, and they're saying, screw it. I don't know when interest rates are, because initially it was like, oh, this is going to be quick. It's going to be a 6 month.
Right.
Oh, it's going to be 12 months.
You're right. A lot of people thought that.
Date the rate, marry the house. And now it's like, oh my gosh, when is, like, I was talking to a lady in Sun City recently, and she said, I way overpaid for my home. I thought I cannot afford my mortgage, and it's just killing me right now. But I thought I'd be able to refinance. Like I thought this would be a short-term situation, and it's turned into like almost an 18-month situation, and I cannot refinance my house and get a lower payment. So you're also running into some of those situations. So 18-month high, but homes are still selling quickly. So if the home is priced right, we're getting offers. Like we just put a home in escrow for how much?
2.65.
$2.65 million. $2.65 million. And it's an all cash offer. So we're still seeing the cash buyers. We're still seeing movement in all levels of the market. Obviously in the lower income, like the lower price points, there's still a lot of movement, but still in the higher end, that house sold in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And so at least we got an accepted offer in 2 weeks. It would have been faster, but we negotiated a long time on that one. Took about a week's worth of negotiation to put that one together. But my point is that it's still a good time to sell a home. Homes are selling quickly. They are selling for near record high prices, but that might change as the market continues. So it's I'm holding my breath. I'll be curious to see what happens this time next year. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not making any predictions, but if you're looking to buy or sell a house, you need to make that decision based on even if. Not what if, but even if. I've talked about this before, right, Val?
Yeah.
So like a lot of people will like, well, what if interest rates go higher? What if interest rates go down? What if prices come down? You need to buy it even if. If the woman in Sun City had purchased the home under even if situations, she would have been more comfortable with her decision. So even if interest rates didn't come down, she can afford the mortgage payment. Even if something doesn't happen, she has a plan B. Right. And so we encourage you to do that. But if you're thinking about selling a home and you're like, well, what can I do to maximize the return on my sale, like the return on this investment? Our suggestion is to reach out to a realtor that has a strong marketing plan. So we have like a 195-point marketing plan. It's all spelled out. You can read all 195 points. If you'd like to get a copy of it, just call or text 530-GET-MORE. That's 530-GET-MORE. And we can send you our 195-point marketing plan, and you can go through and say, is this what you're looking for? Is there anything missing from the marketing plan that we have compared to your other realtor that you may be interviewing? Because we sell homes on average every 3 days. So the average realtor sells a home every 98% of realtors do not sell a home every 1.5 months. Well, no, I may say that wrong. 98% of realtors don't sell fewer than 1.5 homes a month.
Yes.
That's what it is. We sell a home on average every 3 days. So way, way, way more experience than your typical realtor, way more resources, and that's why we're able to offer that 195-point marketing plan and complete with a Bay Area buyer marketing plan. So if you'd like to learn more, go ahead and call or text. We'll send it over to you for free. That's 530-GET-MORE, 530-GET-MORE.
Mike, some people would call this being greedy, but from my perspective, it's just the plain fact that we work hard for our money. We want better customer service. We want a better experience. And that's what you get when you work with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty. For instance, Margie and Ben, they wanted to sell their mother's home in Rancho Cordova, but not only did they want to sell it as is, but they also wanted top dollar. And that's exactly what they got from Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team. Sold it for $20,000 over list price, and they had cash in hand in only 17 days.
Yeah, and the key to that, again, is the customer service. Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team took care of them through the whole process. There's a reason why they have over 760 5-star Google reviews and were voted the #1 team in Roseville for the last 3 years. So if you would like some help selling your home, you were curious what kind of offers you can get, the high end, the low end, or maybe just a cash offer, you could take advantage of Johnny Jennings and Tom Dave's real estate team's Bay Area marketing plan to get the most for your home when you Google Made for More Realty. Expect more, get more with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Dave's team at Made for More Realty, brokered by eXp Realty. Just Google Made for More Realty today and get more for your home. License number 581837.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this is the number one complaint of an experienced real estate professional. Valerie, let me test this theory out. Valerie, would you say it is when your realtor doesn't listen to you? Or when your client doesn't listen to the realtor?
100%. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Why is that? Why is that so frustrating to you?
Well, oftentimes we sit down with our clients at the beginning of our relationship and say, what are your goals? Okay, so I know exactly what they're shooting for and what they want. And I know how to make that happen, right? I've done this a million times. I know exactly how to achieve what they're trying to achieve. And so many people, and myself included, I feel like I know I can figure it out better than so-and-so that's trying to do it for me, right? But if we just put our humble pants on and listen.
Humble pants.
I like that.
Are those like super stretchy, or like, I need to know more about, can you get those at Lululemon, or where do you get humble pants?
No, you cannot buy them there. No.
Made for More store. Go to madeformorestore.com.
Yes.
No, yeah.
But it's just, it's just about taking a step back and listening to the professional in any situation that you're in, but especially in real estate, because, your agent is the one that's done this before. They know how to help you achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I've seen somebody, not necessarily in real estate, but go through those similar experiences, right? Where they have an office, a potential client comes into their office, tells them, this is what I think the plan should be, yada, yada, yada. And the person says, good luck with that. There's the door. And just is like, this is not going to work out. You're just going to frustrate me. Obviously, you think you know everything, so there's the door and walk out. Obviously, you guys don't do that. You have a little bit more grace and compassion and understanding. But it's true. You've run into those situations like, why are you coming to me if you already know the plan and what to do? Then go for it.
Yeah, do
obviously
it yourself
come to
then,
me. Yeah,
So
I am the master. You are but my apprentice.
So there are a couple different reasons why they're doing that. One is they don't trust the person, and so there's a lack of trust there. Maybe they're working with the realtor because they heard good things, but they don't trust them, or maybe because it's a friend or a family member and they don't really trust them, and but they think they're doing them a favor. That's another thing, is a lot of people think, hey, I'm in control. I've sold a home. Like what's the one I heard most recently? I've sold 4 homes in my lifetime. And I'm like, bro, I sold 4 this week. Like, who's more experienced? I get it. You're older than me, but you've lived more years. But age is not necessarily a de facto determinant of experience and wisdom.
Yeah. But you probably deal with that on a regular basis because you're still a young guy. So how do you overcome that? How do you have those conversations with somebody who's older and more experienced in other areas of life? Right?
Yeah.
They've been down the road longer, but you're more experienced, obviously, in real estate. How do you have those conversations?
So what I like to do is I just say, hey, it's your house, your rules. Like they need to feel like they're in control. They need to know, they'll know that that I'm not dictating the process to them. At the end of the day, it's their home. I'm here to advise. Now, whether or not you listen to me, that's up to you. But I am not doing my job. I'm not being a fiduciary to you if I am withholding valid information.
And you had an experience recently, right, Valerie?
Yeah, definitely. We're a success story, right? So a lot of times when we're working with buyers, they have a specific time frame that they're looking for, right? So this specific client, he was looking to buy something before selling his other home because he's got a lot of kids. He needs to make sure that they can move in and they're not trying to do this whole 2 escrows at the same time thing, right? So he was able to listen to us, get financing with our preferred lender who has a great plan of how to make that happen, right? So the exact process to walk through, the lender and I both spelled it out for him. He listened, we made it happen. And it wasn't all perfect throughout the whole thing. We had bumps along the road with financing.
Yeah. So like some bumps along the road would have been, he had a bunch of different bank accounts. And so he had a fantastic income, but because he was a business owner, his taxes, he wasn't paying a whole lot in taxes. So most lenders would say, hey, we can't do this loan. But JJ Mack with American Pacific Mortgage is able to do a thing called manual underwriting. It's also called a bank statement loan. And so what they're able to do is collect all the different bank statements from, I believe it was 5 different banks. So this is not a simple process. Collect all the bank statements and create a custom plan that would allow him to get pre-approved for exactly what he needed. And so if that interests you and you're wanting to learn more about the buy before you sell program, just call or text us at 530-GET-MORE. Just text, say buy before you sell or house to 530-GET-MORE, and we'll get you the information on that specific program. And but essentially what he was able to do was listen to us. He listened to the professionals. He got the house he wanted at the price he wanted, and now his family's moving into it. And now he's going to sell his other home. It's going to be easily shown. He's not going to have to deal with people coming in and out and him having to move all the family and the kids out of the home during the showing and bringing them back in. They're all going to be calm and enjoying their new home while the other home is on the market.
And you're saying the key to that was him following your lead.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So we lay out options. Like, again, it's your house, your rules, but here are some options. And so, but if you don't take the options if you don't take the advice we're giving you, then it's like hiring an attorney to represent you in court and then not using them at all. Just be quiet. I got this.
Yeah. You stand up and defend yourself rather than letting them do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just not recommended. But at the end of the day, if you are not feeling like you're represented, or you're not feeling like that person has your best interests in mind, then you've picked the wrong real estate agent. And so I'm not saying you should cancel an agreement or you should do anything unethical, but before you enter into an agreement, you need to make sure that person is legit. And so what I would recommend you do is you go to their Google reviews and see what do people have to say after working with them. Google us. You could just go to Tom Dave's Made for More. You Google us. You'll see we have over 760 5-star reviews. And the reason why we do that is because, 1, we sell a lot of homes, but 2, we do a great job for our clients. And so not only do we have the experience, but we have the client and customer care to make sure that you trust us and that you feel comfortable in trusting us with your most valuable asset. Val, if there was one thing you wanted sellers to know in like 30 seconds or less, what would it be right now in today's market?
Sellers?
Yeah.
Just trust us, I think, and like goes back to what you were saying. It's really all about trusting your agent, knowing that they have your best interest in mind and that they know what to do to get you to that goal.
Absolutely. Not all realtors are created equal.
Yeah.
But if you want to learn more about our Buy Before You Sell program or 195-point program, marketing program, just call or text 530-GET-MORE. That's 530-GET-MORE.